Peaches, peaches. Who's got the peaches? Hopefully the bugs will leave me some. Getting the few that are on here doing well. Welcome to part 3 of this week's Food Forest Tours, guys. Hope you've all been doing well. Looks like the bugs are getting into these peaches a little bit. Pan over here to this side. You can see the plum curculio are the main culprits. Got some plants in here, as I've mentioned before, growing, or some seeds planted to get going to hopefully help with that. So it looks like this year they, obviously that it weren't coming up in time. I'm gonna try some, I had some Thai basil that did really good in the main garden area last year. So I may try that around the fruit trees, because even after it's been, the branches are dead, and you can break them back and they fall down, or you can just leave it standing as it's still standing in the garden just with the dead pieces. It still smells really strong. Not like super fragrant, but when you walk up beside it, I can smell it. And so I'm hoping that that may be a good sign that it may discourage some of the pest bugs, or at least cause some confusion so they have a hard time locating the tree. But I'm assuming that the more of that I can grow around this, the better it'll do. So that may be something I try next year. Smaller peach trees growing well. It's the 1-year-old tree. Cut back the rootstock branches. Lots of really healthy growth. It's about 8 inches or so for each of these new growths coming out. About 6 or so on these ones up top. Looking really healthy. Over here at the second peach tree, you can see some of these peaches. This one didn't have as many, so they're getting bigger quite more quickly. They have a lot less damage than the other ones, and they're like a darker color. You can see, probably that's because that one's in a lot of more sunlight. They seem to be a darker color though in general than the other one. You can see that one's kind of really getting some color up. It's probably also because they're bigger. But interestingly, this one has not been hit nearly as hard as the one over there, and sometimes it seems to be like the tree has a more of like a fragrant smell. Like I could actually smell like a peachy smell over near that tree, even though it doesn't have a lot of peaches on it either. But not a lot of peaches up top on this one. But there's a little tiny one. So it seems like that strong peachy smell can, I guess, hone in the pests onto it. Seedling peach tree is looking really good. Lots of new growth coming out everywhere, a few inches long. Some of it's about 8 inches like this. The biggest growth is probably in that section. It's probably like 18 inches maybe on these larger shoots that are kind of filling in that left side of the tree. So that's really good to see. Looking really healthy so far. Hopefully it'll keep it up. Cherry tree's really starting to get most of its growth out. Looks like that limb that hasn't bloomed yet, I can see the little buds, so it's just a little bit later for some reason, but there's even a flower on it I can see. So, got a flower right there. Just for some reason the tip's just taking its time coming out, but I can actually see quite a few little clusters of cherries up there that are forming. Let me see if I can get a zoom in on maybe one on these lower branches. Here's a good cluster right here. It's finishing up blooming. Looks like a few of these died. Like I can tell that one's really limp and dead feeling, but this one right here feels really strong, and you can see it's more died back than this one, so most likely that one's pollinated. And it looks like at least about maybe 2 or 3 of these have pollinated, or at least the fruit's hanging on too. So that's awesome. I'm so excited. And look right here. This one must have bloomed crazy early, because it's way far ahead of any of the other ones. I didn't see it, but yeah, it looks like a mutant cherry. Maybe this tree was finally ready to produce fruit, so it didn't just do 1 cherry on that stem, it's got 2. So that's really funny and kind of interesting. This other cherry tree is looking really good. Lots of really healthy growth coming out so far. Like that branch, that little branch right there is about 6 inches already. There's another one kind of right here that's 6 inches, just kind of scanning, looking over it. So that's really good to see. Let's see if we can see a few cherries on this tree. Here's a cluster right here. You can see the little cherry right in there. It's kind of swelling up already, and same thing right down there. I won't remove that just so maybe it'll help hide them a little bit longer. If you look right at the tip of my thumb, you can see that's starting to turn dark green right at the base of that where that brown's going away. So that cherry's getting big too. So glad to see. I may, because I kind of really would like to see the cherries this year. I bagged my fruit last year with a kind of, I don't know what it was made out of, some type of plastic probably, but those fruit bags didn't do so well for me. They were kind of awkward to get on and really bulky, and the squirrels or birds, you know, if the fruit was touching the outside, it was like they would just chew the the bag and just still eat it, or just mush it up and eat it. So they were really determined to get that fruit last year. But so I may try some small plastic bags, and that way I can really just tuck them in here. I may get as tiny one as I can get, and maybe just staple them maybe around just the little limb beside it, so it's kind of very kind of discreet and out of the way. So hopefully that will protect them from some bugs. And I don't think there's going to be enough to really attract the critters. The birds might be what I would be worried about, but I've got a mulberry back there, the big one, that will hopefully distract a little bit. It's not going to produce a whole lot of mulberries this year, but hopefully as I get that one going and getting some more mulberries in here, that'll help distract them off these cherry trees. Paw Paw's starting to put some leaves out. Until now it's just been the flowers. You can see there's still a few flowers on here, but it's mostly done. It looks like this Paw Paw tree is a self-pollinating Paw Paw. Yay! And I honestly don't know. I haven't honestly looked at if what small Paw Paw fruit looks like, because I haven't had any. But and I didn't think I was gonna have any. But just looking at these clusters, it's looked like they're gonna form these banana type clusters of the pawpaws on there. All these look pollinated. Sometimes you have a few like that. Sometimes some of them there's two. One of them nearby. Yeah, that one below it, there's just one. So it looks like, depending on pollination, I'm guessing that each ones will be pawpaws, which would be really, really cool. And I will look that up soon and I can confirm that hopefully in the next video of this one. But that's what it looks like, and it looks like it got really decent pollination. A few of those clusters, it looks like there's 5 or 6 of them on there. Like this one looks like 3 or 4, 3 in that one. So, oh wow, there's like 8 in that one right there. So that's really cool to see. So yes, exciting. Might have some pawpaws this year. Over here at the little pawpaw, it looks like it's doing good. It's a little ahead of that one with the leaves and everything, since I'm sure this one, you know, isn't blooming or have fruit developing, so that's why it's probably a little earlier. But that one's looking really good too, so hopefully we'll have 2 pawpaws soon. That'll be producing some yummy pawpaws. I've never tried them before, so really interested to try that and see how they taste. Thanks for tuning in to part 3 this week, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in part 4 soon.